I got stung on the eyeball about 4 years ago from a red wasp. I went to pick my binoculars up.
And it was sitting on it.
It was sitting on the eyepiece of my binoculars. And I'm going to tell you, that was one of the worst pains I ever had in my life. That hunt was over.
The award-winning Tennessee WildCast is on the air with the latest on hunting, fishing, boating, wildlife watching, and all things outdoors. Make welcome your host, drummer and outdoor expert novice, Jason Harmon.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Tennessee WildCast. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I just want to throw a shout-out to all our radio partners out there for putting us out there on the radio, and we appreciate everybody who's following us on social media. It's a great thing to be out there, and we appreciate everybody that likes us, that clicks the bell, that shares us, and it's just fun. We got a fun show for you today. We are at the CWD Lab in Jackson, Tennessee, and we'll have Miss Amy Spencer helping me co-host today. Appreciate her being here and having us, and then Mr. Anthony Landreth with us to talk deer hunting. That's it's coming up this weekend. It's opening day and opening weekend, and we're excited to get back into the deer woods. So appreciate you guys being here.
Hey, anytime. I enjoy it. It's right up my alley.
Yeah, Anthony's a talker.
If it's about hunting or fishing, I can talk about it.
Yeah, well, I think that's where we'll start. If anybody follows Outdoors in Tennessee on Facebook, they've probably seen your face hosting a show called Tennessee Outside.
That's correct.
Tell us about that.
Well, that started out from I started doing a show, Southern Woods and Waters in Nashville.
Okay.
And the host of that was Hugh McNaughton. And I was the first time I was on the show, Brandon Dowdy's the host too. Hugh called me the next morning and he asked me about would I host a radio show with him on ESPN network called Southern Woods and Waters Radio. So I did. And Hugh had a heart attack, passed away, and I did that for about a year. And then Bubba Spencer and J.R. Sweat, after Hugh passed away, they come help me do the radio show. And then we just had so many people to ask us, man, Anthony, you ever going to start back a show? Because, we get a lot of information out to everybody.
Yeah.
And I don't know, for some reason, it's like they might be afraid to call the TWRA office, but they're sure not afraid about sending me a message, and so I don't mind helping them.
Yeah.
But so J.R. Sweat and Bubba and my cousin Janet Murphy, we decided we would start a show in Tennessee Outside, and TWRA, they helped with our set. And as a matter of fact, Bobby Wilson, the director, was the first guest on our show on our new set.
On your new set, yeah. Yeah, y'all started out in a small office, if I remember right.
We did.
Yeah.
At Baker Glass Shop.
Yeah.
It was because that was the only place we had to have somewhere that had good internet service.
Okay, yeah.
And
that can be sketchy in Hardeman.
Yes. On the east end of Hardeman County, it's not happening.
And the south end.
You could talk on somebody on the moon better than you can the east side of Hardeman County.
Yeah.
But that's where we started. And then the mayor come to us, and he said, man, I got a good place for y'all at the new Hardeman County Agribusiness Center. So we went out there, and we talked about a set, and thanks to Bill Dance Jr. and Aunt Commissioner Box.
Yeah.
And she was our guest, too, at the other place, at the glass shop.
Yeah.
And so that's how all that came about. And we do our show every Tuesday night, 7 o'clock, and we have a potential audience of about 1.6 million people right now.
Wow.
And then you've also got a law enforcement officer on there, so a lot of the questions you're getting an answer.
That's right.
If you have that. And it's not just somebody making up a rule or regulation. You actually have someone that knows the law.
That's right.
Yeah.
And even though, and what's kind of weird about that, though, Amy, is I know Bubba's probably told you, we've had people that want to argue us, tell them me and Bubba's both wrong. So then what we do is after, they won't say nothing at that time. They send it to us during the next week or that night, basically after the show. So what we do, we always have a hunting regulation or fishing regulation book with us.
Yep.
So we go to that page and we tell them exactly where it is on that page, what sentence
I do that all the time on our social media pages. On the TWRA, I constantly say you can find that information on page 29 of the Hunting Guide or wherever.
Yep.
And then if you want, then we can talk about it after that. But please go read it.
That's right.
Then we can discuss it.
And I guess the two biggest things is the arguments that they want to have is that you got to have a plug shotgun to hunt crows. No, you don't. Even though it's a federal bird, you don't have to have your shotgun plug to hunt crows. And of course, we told them where it was. And then about that, people arguing saying you did not have to wear orange during the velvet hunting unit CWD. But you did, and now it's going the other way.
Yes,
people are saying
do I have to wear orange during archery season?
That opens up
And then,
Saturday the 25th.
And then the other question that we've got in unit CWD, can you use a gun during the archery season? No, you cannot. It is a archery only.
Or a muzzleloader too.
Yes. So
and you cannot use it.
And as I like to say, you can find that on page 27 of the hunting guide.
Yeah, that was one of the things I wanted to make sure we hit on is like deer stuff in the guide starts on like page 24, I guess. Big game regulations in the tag before you drag, which is important.
Yes.
I'm glad I saw this on the page. I may not have mentioned it today, but tag before you drag, you got to check that deer in.
You've got to tag that deer before you move it if you're going to move it out. But the quickest and the easiest thing to have it on your app. Last year, it was so easy just to walk over and just right there, standing over it, it's checked in and I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, it was easy during deer season last year. This past turkey season, I checked one in. It's simple. I mean, there's a few questions, but just go through the questions
and even if you don't have phone service, it still checks it in.
Exactly.
So you're still covered.
Right.
Exactly.
And like I have, my son's is on there, Bubba's is on mine's on. We're all right there together, so I can do all of us right there at one time.
Yeah. You can store your family's licenses in the app. But yeah, it's real easy. But if you don't have the app or you still got the flip phone or whatever you may have out there, you can print this off at home
and you
carry the kill tag with you or the tag and mark it and tag your animal.
Yep.
So just make sure you
And even if you're a landowner, you still have to check that deer in. That's one of those questions that we get. It still has to be checked in.
Yep. So, yeah, deer season is this weekend. And like we said, you can find that in the hunt guide around page 25, 26. The seasons are there.
Bag limits.
So, archery season fires off September 25th, runs through October 29th. So, that's the first
segment of it.
First leg, yeah. And I'm just going to cover some of the antlerless bag limits and things here. If you're in Unit A, you get 2. Unit B, you get 2. Unit C, you get let's back up. Unit A, you get 4. I was a line down. Unit A, you get 4. Unit B, you get 4. Unit C, 4. Unit D, 4.
That's all your antlerless.
Antlerless, yes. And Unit L and Unit CWD, it's 3 a day.
Yes, it is.
So easy to fill the freezer,
right.
Especially in Middle Tennessee. In Unit L and Unit CWD. But now the antler bag limit for the whole year is 2. So you can get
1 per day.
1 per day, 2 for the season. Unless you're in CWD, there are some incentive.
Yes, you can earn $1 in Unit CWD, and that only applies to Unit CWD. I know I've got that on our social media, the TWRA site.
Yeah.
People thinking in other units they can earn $1, but you can't earn $1 anywhere else except Unit CWD. Now, if you should kill a positive deer, that changes the thing, but earn $1 is CWD only.
Right.
And that's by killing 2 does.
Yes.
Yep. So
and checking those in.
Yeah.
And submitting them for
testing. And then it's unlimited. Every 2 you get a buck tag.
Yep. Yeah. You got to go through the process. You got to go through the steps and wait.
And it's work killing a bunch of does.
It is.
Because I know last year, because I earned my license, my sportsman's license last year, and yes, by the end of the season, I'm sorry, but I was like, "Whoa, this is like work."
Yeah. That's awesome though that's out there and available for folks to acquire that and earn that.
The one thing I think is pretty cool this year, Jason, is if you kill a positive buck, you get a replacement tag for it. But if you don't use it this year, you can carry that over to next year.
Yeah, if it's a late season harvest.
Yes.
Yeah, like the last 2 or 3 days of the season. Yes, that's because we've had a lot of people the last couple of years kill one in those last couple of days, and then they couldn't use it the next year. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's it's great to see. We're trying to help the sportsmen, and if they help us, we'll help them, kind of thing. It's kind of cool.
Right.
Let's see what else we got on the.
We also have the incentive program this year that's different from last year.
That's right.
So this year, for hunters who harvest a positive deer, you get a voucher worth $75 that will go towards the processing of the next deer. Now you can't cash that in, but let's say you kill a CWD positive deer, you have $75 for the next processing.
All right, this is a question, Amy, that some of them asked me. What if you kill a doe or a buck and it's positive, but say you just processed it yourself? You still get that $75, correct?
You get that voucher, but it's only for participating processors.
Right.
Yeah.
But so if you killed another one, then you can go use that. That's right.
Yes. Then the residents who kill 2 or more CWD positive deer during the season will get an annual sportsman license for 2022. Now that's different from last year, so it's 2 positive deer that you got to kill, and that's antlered or antlerless.
Yeah. So. And the good thing about that is if, like myself, I got a lifetime license, and I have killed positive deer, I can gift that to somebody.
Yes, you could give it to whoever you want.
Right. And that is pretty good.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because last year we didn't have that, and we had a lot of people that had lifetime licenses that had earned that free license,
Right.
and we couldn't gift it. So
Yep.
that's something new for this year.
Yeah, and I want to throw a shout out there to the foundation and the federation for the partnerships that they do
Yes.
on some of these incentive programs. It's very helpful, and they do a lot to help us out. So just a shout out to them. And remember our website. I'm gonna pull it up here for me, but
Yeah, so many times we get a question that says, it's a general question. It could be a license question. It could be a bag limit question. That
Yeah.
is all online. That's one thing you can do is you can go to our webpage. You can get the hunting guide right there in a matter of clicks. And anything and everything you want to know about CWD is on our website. And
Really
our
new
webpage
design?
I was getting ready to go there, is newly designed. And it is, I got to say, it's really nice.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to find the information that you were looking for and less clicks.
yeah, the top things that you want to track down are at the top: testing results, carcass transportation, disposal, management, and incentive programs. All those things that people are asking, the things you ask yourself every day before you go in the woods, it's right there. So it's easy to find. CWDintennessee.com.
It is.
You know, the one thing I've got a lot of response on this week, and of course we might not, I mean, we'll talk about it just for a second, is that new 365-day license.
Yes. That's new.
Yep.
If you don't know what's going on, the commission just voted that last Thursday, Friday,
Yeah.
that we can now have a 365-day
Yep.
license starting in 2022.
2020. Yeah, so-
March 1st, 2022. That's
Yeah,
right.
when you get your new license, it'll be good for 365 days from the day you purchase it.
Yes.
So a lot of people have been pushing for that and wanting that, and we
we
get
got
the
it.
questions all the time.
And we
when's
got
this
it.
going to happen?
Because I know my Mississippi fishing license, that's the way it always is.
Yep.
You know, it's good for 365 days.
Yep. There was just a tradition in Tennessee that had stuck a long time, but now that's going to change, and I think a lot of people are going to be happy about that.
I
Yes.
think so too. I have only had positive responses about it. Mm-hmm. I mean, when I shared that, I mean, I couldn't tell you how many comments, but none of them were negative. And I don't have to tell y'all to get all positives. They're pretty rare,
Yeah.
you know. When we're talking TWRA, I'm just going to tell you. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast.
Well, you know, if somebody
Yes.
wants to explore deer hunting and it's late in the year, but they still want to try it out, then they're good through the next season. You know,
Yeah, that's right.
So there's some.
And we get a lot of
Great
those
stuff
that
there.
come in at Thanksgiving or Christmas, and you know that would actually cover you through the
Right.
Yeah,
Just
almost to
just
the next
come
holiday.
in a little bit earlier next
Yeah.
year, and you're covered
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
a few days earlier.
Yep, for sure. One thing I had a note here: weapons. Just what's allowed. It's archery season for the kickoff. Archery only for all units. So make sure you check your guide. Now, once the muzzleloader kicks in, some things change for CWD. So
Yeah, but let's not confuse them if we start talking
Right.
about
Yeah, I
that.
know.
They'll get confused. We got to time out. We got to wait till the
Yeah.
next season.
Yeah, so just know that through the 5th of November right now is archery only. Then the
Except the 2-day juveniles.
Yep.
Yes, that's what I say. Except the youth hunt.
October 30 and 31 are the dates for that. So Halloween hunt for the kids.
Yep.
So anyway, great.
Speaking of that, our food plot is coming up for our son. It looks great. It's about that high, and I
Yeah.
was so excited. We hit it right before this rain.
Mine's like 5 days old and same way.
Awesome. So when do you start planting?
I just planted mine Thursday.
Okay.
But Jason, I normally have all of mine in by the end of August. But the army worms
Yeah,
have been
that's-
so dang bad this year. I know
Really?
people that's had to spray as much as 4 times.
We did. We sprayed 4 times on our farm,
Yep.
and we were holding off just because of the army worms. And when we were gone and got back, and it looked good, I said we got to get it in. So we.
Yep.
And yes, but we had a horrible round with army worms.
I've
this
never
year.
seen them this bad as in West Tennessee this year. I mean, I've literally have had one of the best food plots I had about 8 years ago. It was up probably 8 or 9 inches, and from one day to the next, they ate 1.1 acres completely up.
Wow.
I pulled up there I knew I had put some new batteries in a camera, and it was basically looked like the field had just been freshly plowed, and I had never sowed anything. It was not one blade of green grass, wheat, anything.
Our Bermuda went from beautiful pasture to look at that brown spot, and then the next day it was gone. I mean, it was just like 3 days.
And it's
gone.
like the prettier it is, the more that's what they want.
The buffet is open.
That's right.
Yes.
It sure is.
Well, that's so you just got your plots in kind of late, I would think. Right
Yeah,
now. Well,
but really, technically, you've got 2 to 3 more weeks to get them in.
okay.
But I always like to get them in early. But, I mean, one year I planted mine like August 29th. We never got the first rain till like October the 2nd. This was like 3 years ago. And I was afraid the birds had done eat my seed up or it lost germination. But once we got that first rain, I had the prettiest plot I ever had.
Okay.
Yeah, we were actually out there hand seeding some clover.
Yep.
Why, it was just that little drizzling rain this weekend. I mean, we were out there, let's get it in because we've got the opportunity to get it in. And
Yeah, because I know Bubba and I both are trying some balanza clover.
Yeah, because I did a series on food plots on our TWRA Facebook page last week, and I was like, "But we got to get that clover in." And after that germinated and looked good, I was like, "Let's put it in." So we were out there hand seeding it.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about food plots a little bit. People are sometimes confused about hunting over them and what they can and can't do. Food plots are okay, right?
For deer, yes.
Yes.
Or turkey.
Mm-hmm.
You can plant those and hunt over them. That's not illegal.
And you can manipulate the crop. Like you had some corn, you can bush hog it. You can mow strips through it. That is 100% legal.
As long as it's not for waterfowl, you're fine.
Yeah, and as long as it is planted like kind of agricultural practice type planting, you can't go out there and get a bag of corn and spray
You
it.
can't add corn to it. Like if your corn didn't make, you can't go add corn to it. And I've actually wrote a ticket for that.
Yeah.
Guy doing that, buying corn and putting it out. In this food plot.
The thing is, people think you can't tell that, but it is so easy to tell somewhere that it's been added to.
Yeah.
Because I know, of course, I film most of my hunts and I post them daily on Facebook, but I have one spot I call the Big House Field, and I will make like 5 lanes. I'll like turn the bush hog on and bush hog to my deer house, and then I'll go away with the other, but then on all of them, I'll cut the blades off, and then I'll just knock a row down right beside it. And it's like the bush hog one brings them in quick, but they have to stay a little while to get the rest of it.
Yeah.
And people would say, that is baiting. No. But I've got a thing from TWRA. It's been on my phone now for about 6 or 7 years. And basically it says what you said. You can manipulate anything you want to for deer and turkeys except for waterfowl.
Yes.
Yep.
And people they can't understand
It's different. Like, okay, you can run over it with the 4-wheeler going in on your deer food plot. I've done it.
Yeah.
When I'm done, or knock some down on the way out. But you cannot do that if you're waterfowl hunting.
That's right.
You cannot knock some of it down with the boat or the 4-wheeler when you're going in.
That's right.
Well, let's focus on the deer and turkey today, because waterfowl's a whole nother
It's a whole nother one.
Yeah, and turkey season open Saturday too with the bow.
Yes, it does.
That's true. I sometimes forget about that fall opportunity.
No, it is. Yep.
I've killed 13 with my bow. Out of 15 years.
What page is that on?
That's what I was actually going to go find that.
It's under the turkey, the fall.
It's actually, if you've got a printed guide, it is on page 38.
Yeah.
So, check that out. So, that's September 25th through the 29th.
October 29th.
October 29th, yep.
And then 2 of those weeks you can use a shotgun.
Yeah, that actually starts in October.
Yep. Like last 2 weeks, I believe.
So, it's always good to review the guide there. But, food plots are good. Casting bags of corn is not.
That's correct.
And
especially
things like that.
And feeders are not good.
That's right.
Feeders are not
Minerals, any of that, all that's banned.
That's all in Unit CWD.
Right.
Now, if you're outside of Unit CWD and you've got a salt block, you can legally hunt over
right.
it.
As long as it's minerals only.
Right, and I want to bring that up because sometimes people go to Walmart or whatever, they want to buy a block, but it's got corn or it's got grain product. If it says grain product in it, you cannot use it.
Molasses. That's a no-no,
that's
right?
A no.
That's a grain.
Some of those sweet treats that those deer like, but that's not you can't hunt over it. So.
Correct.
So that's good. We get those questions all the time. Those come in quite often.
Yes, a lot.
Well, let's see. We've touched on food plots. We've touched on some other things.
Game cameras.
Yeah, game cameras, and maybe how you prepare, Anthony. How do you prepare for the season? I know
he's the king of game cameras.
I run 103 of them, Jason, and I run my cameras year round. I never take them up.
Okay.
And
man, Duracell loves you. Energizer.
Well, but I tell you what, though, once I started doing that, I don't ever lose a camera no more. It used to when I would, like most people do, they take their cameras out like the end of February. They know what bucks made it. And then a lot of people, maybe by the mid-July or late July, they go to put them back out. I always have trouble with some of them not working right. Mm-hmm. So I knew a guy that was an engineer with Moultrie, and he told me, he said, try to leave them out year round. And I'm telling you, when I did that in 7 years now, I've only had 5 cameras go bad. That's it.
Wow.
And then another trick he told me, he said, if you use SanDisk SD cards, I guess I'm making a commercial here.
There you go. Moultrie and SanDisk.
Yeah. He said, well, no, I don't use Moultrie cameras. But
I was going to say that.
But I always use SanDisk SD cards and always use Energizer or Duracell batteries. And I tell you what, since I've started that too, 99.9% of any issues is gone.
Wow, that's awesome. So how do you keep up with that many cameras? I mean, I guess you just...
Well, it's people that go with me sometimes, they'll say, do you ever forget where they are? And it's like the most I have on one farm is, I got 42 on one farm. But once you run them 2 or 3 times, and then I run them like you would a trap line.
Okay.
So I start at one end. So I know where every one of them is, and I put them on trees where, I can just, a lot of them I can ride right up to my four-wheeler. And that's a trick, too, that a lot of people don't know, is they think, well, you're riding inside there. But my little roads is like, everything off of the road is sanctuary. I never go in there.
Yeah.
So those deer over 10 years, they're used to hearing or seeing me on that road. I don't get off of it. I don't hunt woods either. I hunt strictly food plots. And people say, well, you never see mature deer. Well, they never watched my videos in, because I post mature deer almost every day.
Yeah, I've seen you post quite a few.
If you never go in the woods and their sanctuary, those deer, they're not going to think nothing about stepping out in that food plot. But most people, they just... I don't know. They can't think about that.
Bubba likes to bring up one of the best articles he read is the professional guide that would put the hunters exactly so far off a main road. Like within, you can see the road.
That's right.
Yeah, because the deer are used to that. They're used to the people.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think they get used to, I know on one farm, I'm the only one that hunts it. I think they get used to smelling me. Because they'll come out there, and I mean, I've literally had deer to where their racks would be like at the end of this table right in front of my deer. I could reach out and grab their racks.
But now I'm a woods hunter. I like to hunt the woods. I like to hunt the acorns. Like this time of year, I'm on the acorns. I'm on the persimmons.
I know.
I'm that person. So that's where I want to be.
Yeah. The thing about that, too, is at least in Hardeman County, maybe I'm going to say less than 5% of the trees are loaded. 80% of them don't have any, and 15's just got a few. That's red oak and white oak.
Yeah.
But see, I'm looking for those because I'm going to wait and I'm going to hunt those food plots when it's cold. Yeah. I like when it's cold and you don't want to be out there. That's when I'm in the food plot because they're looking for fuel.
Well, see, I don't hardly bow hunt as much no more. I might go and crawl up a stand just to sit. But I will take my bow in case I see a turkey, though. I will do that. I'm not going to lie. I like that. But I just like watching.
Yeah.
One thing we need to bring up, and I know it's a little late. This is really late, but man, if you have not checked your tree stand, please check your tree stand. As an officer, I worked way too many accidents and fatalities because people did not check their stand prior to season. Check those ratchet straps. Check the chains. Things do happen. Ratchet straps dry rot. Metal gets rusted and it gets weak. And I just, please, as of a safety standpoint, check your tree stands.
Even over that short time of a year, or fall to fall,
ratchet straps. If they're tight strapped, just a little bit of the growth from that tree
can expand.
It's making micro tears.
And then the sun's on it, and then yes.
I know at Southern Woods and Water most time we recommend you change them straps out every year.
Every year. Yes.
Yep.
And I used to tell people, please check the chains because even those, you can have issues, especially at the back of your tree stand. You can have welds where you're attaching it. That can be an issue. They can get weaknesses there.
Yep.
And like I said, I worked way too many accidents and worked way too many fatalities. So please check that and have a full body harness on. That was one of the fatalities I worked was a guy that had the old-fashioned belt on, and he was using a climber and lost the bottom, and it basically suffocated him because it got up under his chest and he could not breathe.
Yeah,
it does.
The full body harness, they work.
It can be dangerous.
If you hunt a deer house, and I mean this has happened to me before, but go put some bombs off in it because them red whites, we call them the orange crushers. they will be in there.
Yes, they will.
And I mean, a lot of people don't think nothing about it. They say, oh, that's not going to be washed right in here.
Oh, heck yeah.
No, you go in there, you will.
That's the kind of things I'm thinking about, as we're talking. What do you do to prepare? So go bomb your houses. Make sure your harness and your straps and everything is
Make sure the harness is in good working order. Yes.
I bomb mine every 3 months. I have 5 that I hunt in. Every 3 months when I'm checking cameras, I will put one in it. And it's kind of like a maintenance of it. Then you don't have to worry about spiders, wasps, pretty much. Yeah.
I've been sitting in there, and it's really cold, and there's a wasp in there. And it's like the last thing I want to do is get stung.
Or if you turn a heater on, and
here they
you hadn't already prepared, they're coming out of the little cracks in the walls.
Yes.
Because I got stung on the eyeball about 4 years ago from a red wasp. I went to pick my binoculars up.
And it was sitting on it.
It was sitting on the eyepiece of my binoculars. And I'm going to tell you, that was one of the worst pains I ever had in my life. That hunt was over. It was over.
Wow. Well, tell us how you hunt. Do you use maps? Are you researching maps before the seasons? And
I don't.
You got your fields, you got your farms.
I hunt the same farms that I've been hunting. I'm 61. I've been hunting for 55 years. And when I was 8, my dad built me a 6-foot ladder stand, bought me a Winchester .308, and he would put me up. I'd crawl up the 6-foot stand. He was 6 foot tall. He'd hand me my gun and said, "Now don't get down till I come back and get you." and that's the way it was.
My dad tied me in a tree with a lead rope.
No, he didn't tie me. He said, if I had to get out, if I had to go to the bathroom or something. But other than that, he said, don't leave.
I didn't even get that luxury. I was tied in.
Yeah. Now, but a couple times my mom liked to kill him. Because my dad would drink, but it was a couple afternoons he went off in the bottom, and I guess he took him a bottle. And so it was 10 o'clock, and I'm still sitting in that tree. I wasn't getting out, and I wasn't about to walk because where he parked the truck was probably a half a mile. And I was 8, 9 years old. I thought, no, I'll just sit here in this tree.
Just hang out.
One thing I will say, when I was an officer and looking for bait on farms, I was always amazed at the amount of people that were missing the deer sign. I'm a sign hunter. I grew up in the mountains of East Tennessee, and we hunted sign because that's where you found the deer. You found them in the little dips, or you found them where they were eating muscadines, or you found them where they were eating persimmons. But here in West Tennessee, this is a typical hunt. We have a food plot, we have a stand over it, and that's what they're hunting.
Yeah, that's right.
Read the sign. I always wanted to put a note on them and say, read the sign, you're missing the deer.
Yeah, and and the deer, they're going to leave that sign about in the same place every year.
Yep.
A lot of people just don't realize that.
Yep. Well, I think we've covered a lot of good information, a lot of good stuff for the
spray for your wasp.
Yep.
That's right.
Sounds like that's the most important today.
Yeah, check your straps.
I don't want one stinging me in the eye. No. Yeah. Good information. So it's September 25th through August 29th, and then the little break for
October 29th.
Yeah, October 29th.
October.
September 25th, October 29th. So that's the first leg. And the juvenile is October 30th through the 31st, and then you'll get back out there November 1 through the 5th.
And it's going to be cool this weekend.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's supposed to be like 47 Thursday night.
It's going to be. It's going to make you want to go hunt.
Yeah.
The 4 or 5 day November hunt too. A lot of people get confused on that. They think we can use any weapon in Unit CWD, but we can't.
Nope. Check your page 28. There's a good chart there that lays all that out with the calendar. So make sure you check your guide. Transport restrictions, we didn't touch on that, but make sure you check your guide.
Yeah, you got to remember that. Yeah. The people from East Tennessee coming over to hunt the West Tennessee counties, remember to check your transportation before you leave.
Yeah. One more thing before we go. Where to hunt. tnwildlife.org has got a great section on where to hunt. All the WMAs
maps
are right there. You can find a WMA near you, get all the regulations, click to see the guide. Mm-hmm. It's all right there. Our ladies in GIS put together some good maps. So if you like to hunt with maps, go check them out.
They do.
Zoom in on those places and find you a spot. Anthony, thank you.
Hey, man, I enjoyed it. I always love talking about hunting the outdoors.
He's a talker.
Fishing. I am. I don't mind it, I don't mind helping people out, and try to.
Anthony, I will tell you this. A lot of times we have to prep. I didn't have to prep for you today.
Well, no, I didn't figure you did.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.